let's shed some light on a topic that often leaves people a little bit in the dark, and that is, how much do you need to change the program from session to session, from week to week? How much does a program need to change in order to help somebody get stronger? Like a lot of things, there's no black and white answer. There is a lot of contextual things that we need to take into consideration, and that's okay. A lot of training is like that. We're, not in a perfect experiment. We are a human who has all sorts of constraints and things that we have to manage. So one thing to remember is just that it's okay to allow people to have preferences in training. People's preferences often dictate like their excitement and their enjoyment of the training process, and that's okay. But we also, as coaches or practitioners or people who want to get results, we have to understand that too much novelty can be a hindrance, and not enough novelty can be a hindrance. A really simple way to think about this is that we are constantly changing. If we, the human, is responding to the training constantly, the training doesn't always need to change. Now, there's always going to be variables that are in flux, that are changing, and that's okay. That's part of being a relatively complex system. People are going to have good days, they're going to have bad days, and that's okay. We can manage those things. We can lift lighter, we can use auto-regulation, we can use all those types of things. But you need to kind of dial in how much novelty, how much change is beneficial, and how much is just somebody navigating their boredom. One of the things that I do on a regular basis with clients is just ask them if they're bored. And then I ask them if they're okay with that boredom. Some people aren't, and they need a little bit of a switch up. And this is the thing. When you switch up something from like a deadlift to a sumo deadlift or a pause deadlift, it's enough novelty to basically get somebody engaged, but not so much that it's like deviating from the fact that you're still going to get like a good stimulus from that exercise and activity. What becomes a problem is when people switch up things all the time and there's never really any cohesion between the thing they were doing and the next thing. At the end of the day, I really don't think that there's a giant difference between, doing a quad-oriented single leg activity like a Bulgarian split squat and then doing a high bar squat, from like the perspective that they're both going to give you like a quad stimulus, a leg stimulus. They're going to make you stronger over time. Now, there might be phases where doing something like a Bulgarian split squat is more advantageous for a person from just an excitement and changing of the task to invoke a new challenge that is often advantageous for people. But some of this stuff we get so into the weeds about, and it's not really that helpful. So just remember that the program can change on a regular basis and people can still make good progress. But you should also check yourself if you're that person who constantly needs novelty, because the same program from week to week adjusted appropriately can help somebody make really good progress too. So check your biases and understand that good training often just is a blend of principles, progressions, and people's preferences, because if we mix those three things together, we're going to get good outcomes most of the time. That's all I got for today. Peace.